All right, here we are, pre-calculus 30. This is section 1.4. Again, function transformations. We're talking about inverse functions in 1.4, inverse functions. So this is question number 10 in the assignment that the student asked me about. And so here's the video explaining number 10. So it says, for each function f of x, and we're going to be given an f of x. So in a, this is our f of x right here. And we'll do a for an example here, okay? Determine the equation of the inverse by first rewriting the function in vertex form, like this. So what this means is we have to complete the square, okay? We have to complete the square. And if you've forgotten how to complete the square, I'm going to do it for you here, but if you want to watch the full video, you can watch, I believe that's in pre-calculus 20. So you can check that up on my website, www.mrmathwell.com, or look me up on YouTube and just look up Mr. Mathwell, complete the square, okay, or completing the square. But I'll do that for you here. So what we do is, in order to complete the square, that gets it into this format. And we focus on the first two terms that contain the variable there. So we focus on x squared plus 8x. We kind of group those together. And what we do is we add a little space there. Because what we're going to do is we're going to add a constant that's going to make this trinomial a perfect square trinomial. And we're going to be able to write it in this form. We have to also remember the 12 is still here. And when I add something to an equation, I have to make sure that it's balanced. So I have to either add the same thing to the opposite side of the equation, or I have to subtract the same thing from the same side. And I just realized that my big fat face might be just covering some of this. Apologize. I can't see my face in the corner there when I'm doing this. So yeah, so sometimes I write behind there. It's like, what are you doing? Can you not see that? You can't see that? No, I actually can't see that. Sorry. So I apologize. Anyways, here we go. So how do you do this? Easy. As long as this is 1, and this has to be 1, okay, you have to factor that number out if it's not. But as long as this is 1, you take half of this b term, which is half of 8 is 4, and you square it. So you get 16 there. See that? And so now this is now a perfect square trinomial. But wait, we've added 16 to this equation, so I have to subtract 16. Now you're saying, well, what's the use? You add, you subtract. Well, see, this part that we've added here, I'm going to use in this grouping to rewrite this part. And this part is separate, okay, which is great, okay? Great that we can do that. So f of x now can be written as x plus 4, all squared. And outside here, I have 12 minus 16 minus 4, okay? So that is my original f of x, that's this one right here, written in vertex form. Now what we do is, I understand that this f of x is actually y, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to find the inverse. And remember, inverse means reverse. Remember that? Inverse means reverse. If you watch some of my other videos, I say that lots of times. Inverse means reverse, which means we reverse x and y. We switch places. So I'm going to have x out here, and I have y in there. So it's going to look like this. Ooh, fancy, huh? Okay. So inverse means reverse. Now I'm not done because I want to solve for y, and that's going to be my equation of my inverse function, okay, or the equation of the inverse relation, at least. Anyways, I'll explain that later. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. Whoa, what happened to my x? Disappeared. Totally disappeared. I'm going to add 4 to both sides, and then I'm going to take the square root of both sides. Now when I take the square root of anything in solving in math, I have to put plus or minus there. Okay, that's going to be really important. So I have plus or minus the square root of x minus 4 equals y plus 4. I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. And what that's going to be, it's going to leave me with is this. Y equals negative 4 plus or minus the square root of x minus 4. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this y, because this y, it kind of looks like it's the same as this equation, but it's not. This is the inverse. So I'm going to replace this with f to the negative 1 of x. The inverse. Okay? All right. So here's my inverse, okay, right there. Now, notice this plus or minus. That means there's 2 parts to it. And when I graph these, I'm going to show you how that works. So here's my little coordinate plane. X, give me a second here. Minus 4, minus 4. Okay, so we're going to have the original function looks like it's gonna, okay, where is it? Oh, -4, -4 is my vertex. Cool, hey? -4, -4 is my vertex. So I've got this, and I've got this. That's my original function. See, -4, -4 is my vertex from the vertex form. And obviously, y equals x line is going to be sort of the mirror type line, right? So it's going to look something like this. And this graph right here, now you have to understand this plus or minus. Here is the plus version, the positive, the -4 plus. So I take, now watch this. I take this is my square root graph, that's root x, and I'm going to move it to the, oh, sorry, that should be a plus. There we go. I'm going to move it to the, wow, that just disappeared. Plus. I'm going to move it to the left. Oh, gosh. Computer problems. I'm going to move it to the left. Okay. Stay, boy. So this root x is going to go left 4 units and then down 4 units. You see that? Left 4 units, down 4 units, going to be right there. So I'll do this in red. The inverse, this is the top part. See, that's the positive part, the positive root x. Now the negative root x, okay? Now this negative version is this one that's hanging underneath here, the reflected about the x. So there you go. You put them both together, and you have the inverse of that original parabola, okay? So that's why there's two parts there, the plus and minus, right? Okay, I think you understand it. So what have we done? Here we go. We've got the equation of the inverse function. That's this. The plus or minus has got to be in there. And we've graphed it. So there's our original function and our inverse function here. Reflections about that y equals x line. And there you go. That's A. Now you can try B, and this should give you a good start for doing B as well. It's virtually the same. Okay, remember, complete the square. See you later.